Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth with Eden and Kim, shifting you into higher consciousness, the show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, special interviews with inspiring guests, intuitive readings, channeled messages from beyond, including celebrities, hot topics to expand your awareness, and time for questions from the audience. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magical moments.
Powerful, and I thought, you know what? Let's share 10 tips and tools and strategies on how to be mindful in 2021 for our listeners and for us. And we'll just comment on them, and we love for you to write us back feedback on how is it working for you. And even if you listen to this and you only pick one and you go, you know what, I'm going to use that 3 times a week. Let's see how it changes my life this year. I think it's really important. So
yeah, and I'm going to do a little shout out. I have a good friend, Terry. She's an elementary school teacher, and she's been studying mindfulness for the last year or so, and it's helped her in a lot of her healing for herself. But she's trying now to get some kind of legislation to now allow mindfulness into schools.
wow,
for children. Yes,
that's awesome.
So just kind of shout out to that, and this is maybe something that will inspire her too. But I think it's so important. She's seeing how it makes a difference in the way that the kids are absorbing the information, and they're just more open, and when they feel like their minds, their emotions are also being attached to or connected to their learning. And it's just all coming together so beautifully. So she's doing a great job with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
hopefully she takes it far. Yes.
Wow, that's so cool, because my I think it's not that common, but my daughter Nia, that's in 3rd grade, she's doing online school, but her teacher does so much, like she talks about like crystals and mindfulness, and they set goals and positive mindset and all this stuff. And I get like shocked and blown away. I'm like, I can't believe she's teaching this to 8-year-olds. Like, this is just beautiful. Like, I am just like, and Nia's like, Mom, if the kids go back to school, I want to stay with her because I like her so much. Like, it's that powerful.
I can see that.
I'm gonna start with number 1, and this is a really important one for everyone. I think we all need to be reminded of this. There is no destination. When we embark on a new project, we normally have a goal or a destination in mind, but the beauty of mindfulness is that it's a process. You cannot exist outside of the present moment. Life is what's happening to you right now. So the only goal when practicing... or for you, yes. Life
yes.
Is... Well, then you're correcting the author. Life is happening for you right now. So the only goal when practicing mindfulness is to be fully present. Remind yourself of this on a daily basis. There is nowhere more important for you to be right here, right now. That's like a song, right here, right now. Yeah. But it's even with our podcast, I know we've talked about that. Like, instead of looking at it like, oh my God, we're going to be on like Oprah with the podcast. What's next? Instead, like, wow, we have listeners in France. We got to interview this guest and this guest.
And make a difference for people, too, each time.
Right.
That we're helping people and we're helping ourselves. We're learning as we get to help others learn at the same time. So, yeah, that's instead of caring so much about what's next.
Exactly.
I get it. Okay.
Okay, number 2, stay grounded. When you're in a rush, dashing around the supermarket or taking the dog for a quick walk, bring your awareness to your feet, slow down, feel your feet connected to the ground, and this will help you gain a sense of equilibrium and balance.
This is probably going to sound funny, but I was watching the Housewives of Orange County a couple weeks ago, and one of the ladies, the cast members on there, she was having a panic attack. And the other person that was with her was, as she was going through the attack, she kept saying to her, okay, they were outdoors, and she said, okay, tell me 3 things that you can smell right now. tell me 3 things that you can see right now. And, she went on with all the senses,
That's
the different
good.
senses. And that helped her calm down.
That's a really good, yeah, I think that's good. And to even do that in the grocery store, or do that on your walk, or, if you feel angry, try to think of 5 things you love. Like, that helps too, because it's hard to think of anger and love at the same time.
Yeah. I do that sometimes when I can't fall asleep. I don't know if that's called mindfulness or not, but when I have a hard time falling asleep, I will list things that I like or love, or 5 things that I want to do tomorrow, or it just helps me, and then it just gets my mind to not think about worries or anything. I'm just being more staying right in the moment, and I fall asleep.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I think so many people have sleeplessness that's going to help a lot of people. It's such a common thing.
Yeah.
So those of you out there, you're not the only ones. So try Eden's technique. Okay.
Yes.
Number 3, conquer. This is a big one right now. Conquer information overload. Reduce your information consumption. Cancel subscriptions for magazines, online newsletters, anything that you barely have time to read. Unsubscribe from stuff. A cluttered mind is a stressed mind. Free up your mind and make space for the whispers of your heart and soul.
Oh, wow. So that's like getting more in tune with your higher self again.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I have to, I feel that social media is very positive for me, because it ends up becoming 90% of how I meet clients and audience members and things like that, and just even we promote the podcast and all of that. But still, the phone itself, just being on the phone, takes away from being present. So I tend to really work on putting it upstairs, or putting it away, or going somewhere without it for a few hours. Just because I'm like, I don't want to just be glued to my phone all day long.
But that's so annoying, because then I can't get a hold of you.
That's funny.
I hate when you do that.
I'm going to do it more now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, but that's good point.
Okay. So the next one is a little simple one, but it's common, and actually Glacia talked about it on one of the episodes. Stop assuming the worst. And that I think right now that's very common, is people are assuming the worst. And being mindful, you can actually, like we talked about on last week's episode with Glacia, is ask the question, like, if you think, let's say you think the pandemic's going to get worse, you could say, how can the world be full of health and vibrancy and vitality, and people make the right choices, or something like that. But just something to shift your mind and be mindful about how negative you're thinking. So stop assuming the worst.
Yeah, it's obsessive thinking too. Sort of goes along with OCD.
Yeah, it's sometimes a hard thing, Okay,
sure.
The next one, I really like this one, and I think we're gonna have to shift it to online right now, maybe. But it's connect with people. Take time out to sit on a bench or a window seat. Okay, so this is good, because you could do it from your house, and watch people go by. Don't read. Don't be on your phone. Just people watch. Feel connected to everyone and watch them with an open mind and with compassion.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my things that I like to do. We have a little table and chairs on our porch, and we watch people walk by. It's just kind of relaxing.
Yeah, and I mean, people, even with, and for those of you listening, everyone is in different places, but in California, things are kind of locked down, and so you are still allowed to go for a walk. So you can people watch from your window or from your porch, and that's a good tip, because, and I think finding your love for your fellow humans, it doesn't mean you want to hang out with them, but you just find that love and compassion for everybody.
And yourself.
Right. Good point. Good point. That's my...
Yes.
Okay, number 6. mindfully. So whenever you arrive somewhere, give yourself a moment to stop and check in. Become aware of how your body's feeling, any aches or tensions. Take note of any emotions you're carrying. Taking no more than a minute, do this, and you will be centered, present, and ready to move forward.
Okay, and that reminds me of advice that you and I both got a lot in the last few days is stop like a few times a day or every hour and take a few deep breaths.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I've been practicing that.
Yeah, I did it today.
Yes, that's a good one. Okay, so take deep breaths, and we both have been told by different people, different healers and people, to remember as much as you can. The happiest people are those that take really deep breaths, like every hour if you can.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I know it sounds silly. I was telling Eric last night, let's start doing that. And at first he kind of made a joke because that's him, but then he took to it. Like he's like, I'm gonna start doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, you guys know, if you listen to our husband's episodes, they have some depth to them, along with the dorkiness and humor.
Yes.
and their text messages to one another about Cobra Kai.
I know their obsession with Cobra Kai. Yes.
I don't know. I think I am too. And Noella has a crush on the boy in the show. I don't know what the actor's name is, but there's like a little hot 20-something-year-old. I shouldn't be saying that. It sounds like perverted for me, but
no, Miss Cougar.
It's okay just to think he's cute.
Okay, yeah, you said hot though.
Oh, hot, cute, whatever. Yeah. Okay, you sound like Nia now. My 8-year-old thinks saying hot is gross. She's like, that's gross, Mom.
It's gross for a late 40-year-old to say about a.
If I was single, I would not go out with someone that age, but I can still think that they are good looking.
Yes, there. You can.
Okay, number 8 is number 7 is start a daily gratitude journal. List all the positive things in your life, from the small things that make you smile, such as the view from your window, to the bigger things, such as your health, your family. And this is kind of like what you said, Eden. At night, list 3 things you are grateful for during the day, and soon you'll start focusing naturally on the positive. Yeah. So I think that it's like a lot of us hear that constantly, like practice gratitude and make a gratitude list, but let's actually really do it.
I know that's the thing, because I know it sounds good, but most people don't follow through.
Right. So, okay.
But COVID is helping all of us to be more mindful of our well-being now, giving us the time and space to do that. So there's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Start practicing that.
Yeah, it is making us more mindful for sure. Yes. At least most of us, a lot of us. Okay, so the next one is number 8, and it's practice mindful listening. We often find that when we listen to others, we're concentrating on what we are going to say next, filling up our minds with our own opinions, or even speaking out of turn. Try listening with mindfulness. Hear the person without judgment or the need to immediately express a viewpoint. Be aware that the word listen can be shuffled around to spell the word silence.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that cool? I love that one.
Oh, okay. So when you're listening, you're silent.
And I think it's okay to pause. Like, if you're really listening and looking someone in the eyes and taking in what they're saying, and then you are thinking of, like actually Glacia said that. She goes, oh, I get kind of lost in thought for a moment, because she really listens and then responds. So sometimes there's pauses because you're actually thinking about how to respond, because that means you weren't thinking while the person was talking.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
I think that's a good one for everybody.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That one, good for the husbands.
That's funny. Okay. 2 more. Okay, so number 9, this is a big one. one for a lot of us, and especially girls, women. Don't jump to conclusions. There is great truth in the familiar saying, don't judge a book by its cover. We often prejudge people by their appearances or the sound of their voice. Being mindful means seeing everything in the present moment without leaping to unfounded conclusions.
Okay.
And that makes me think of the girl on, that's funny you said Housewives, because it makes me think of the girl on Housewives of Orange County. You channeled her name the other day. What's her name? With an S? Yeah.
I did.
Well, it doesn't matter. One of the main girls on there, she came across to me, and this is me prejudging or jumping into conclusions, I'll admit it, but I was like, oh, she seems shallow and superficial, and she's
Beverly Hills.
No.
And you're talking about Sunny, what's her name?
Oh, not her, but her too. But no, this is Orange County.
That's okay, but the one I channeled is the Beverly Hills lady.
Oh, okay, but probably her too. But no,
okay.
This is Orange
Senate.
County. No, I'm thinking Orange County. It doesn't matter. I can't think of her name right now. But my point is, probably better if I don't mention names. But my point is I was watching it, and she admitted on the show that she had been sexually abused in church, almost cult-like.
Okay, yes. That's the one that had the panic attack.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
So maybe we're supposed to have her on the show. But
okay.
But anyway, I found myself going, oh my gosh, I just caught myself because I had jumped to conclusions and judged her. And look at, like, she's so sweet. Like, she's been through so much. Like, she's done the best she can with what she's been dealt.
Right. Yeah,
so,
and I think all of her castmates also judged her.
Yeah.
Until they found out what was the purpose of why she acted that way. She was covering something up.
Oh wow. Yeah. So that's it. And then we talked earlier on January 11th about Sheena Shea's episode winning it's still the number one episode of all time, and she was judged like that on Vanderpump Rules by many people. And then on our episode, she came very open and deep and honest about who she is. And I think that's what people are like, wow, I jumped to conclusions about her, and now I see the real her. So they're drawn to listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, she still gets a lot of slack, a lot of negative comments, and yeah.
Okay, so we're on to the last one. So the last one is turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. So this is pretty cool, especially right now during COVID, because especially, I'll be honest, like, I am so used to doing stuff with my family constantly. I grew up like we just constantly are like, let's go to this fair, let's go to the restaurant 3 times a week, and let's go to the movies, and let's go here. Like, we just are a very like experiential family, and I taught Edwin that because he didn't grow up like that, and so this says turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Take a daily routine activity such as cleaning your teeth, and be curious and alert about yourself, noticing every sensory detail. Pay attention to the sensations, the contours. Notice if you're thinking ahead to what you're going to do next, and bring your attention back to the present.
For more information on Eden, go to edensustin.com. For more information on Kim, go to kimlifecoach.com. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Talk Purpose and Truth Podcast. If you loved this episode, you'll love every episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for listening.